Hello guys, Bashar here. We are together to discuss the Angar and Fortus buffs, which I think will also be the title of my video. Because they are not buffs, but buffs in air quotes. We have been waiting for these for a really long time. And by the way, don't get me wrong, I do not have either champion, so I don't really care too much. But I think it was a little bit of bad form on Plarium's on Plarium's part, not behavior but part. So thing is, guys, about 6 months ago, Ash did an interview with Cyrilla, and in that video, we have been referred to 2024 for champion revamping, and she has said then that Fortus and Angar will be the first two, and like 1 or 2 months ago we had another hint at that, and finally it is going to arrive. Not arrived yet, but it is going to arrive, and they are, I would say, extremely underwhelming. So thing is, when a champion has been sitting in the vault firmly like for 3 years, and you decide to finally buff it, I think the champion should at least be on par, if not a little bit above average. So I don't expect Fortus to be the new Taras, but I kind of expected them to be a little bit playable, right? And I also expected a little effort go into the set buff, right? Instead of just increasing the multiplier or whatever that is. So let me tell you the magnificent buff of Fortus. So Fortus gets only one buff. This ability will deal more damage. That's it. And another thing is, it's also a secret skill. Wow. So it doesn't, it's not available from the get-go. Okay, that's great. So, and another thing I dislike is the vagueness of the patch notes, right? So, do tell me, right? So this ability is going to deal roughly 30% more damage, 40% more damage, right? How much, right? So at least the owners of said champions will be able to say, maybe he'll be worth it with that change, right? Damage increased is the patch note. It could be 1%, it could be 300%. We don't know, right? We'll have to test it. And it's not the end of the world, of course. Once the change is out, it will be almost instantly data mined. But thing is, I think they should, disclose by how much the damage has been increased. And as I said, guys, if you make people wait for about 6 months, that is not the kind of change you bring, right? You have to design a few abilities, maybe add some more abilities, maybe increase base stats, do something, right? So that's it for Fortus. And if you haven't known, I'm not joking, that is literally it. There is no other buff for Fortus. On Angar, they have worked a little bit more, but I would say he is still underwhelming. So, okay, this ability has been changed. Now there are two abilities and a passive. So this ability now has a chance of 75% chance of putting up a 2-turn provoke, right? That's not too bad. So it does one up on Molly. Molly does 1-turn provoke, and 50% of the time she does a 2-turn provoke. This guy is going to do 1-turn provoke, and 75% of time he's going to do a 2-turn provoke. And because he's void, there will be no weak hitting, so he will be able to almost always do it. And when I say almost, I mean the poison cloud. If the poison cloud is up, he will not be able to provoke anyone. Molly will provoke through poison cloud. That's the advantage of non-hitting abilities, but of course you always prefer hitting abilities because you want to rack up the damage. And okay, and his passive has also been changed. So what the passive now does is, whenever an enemy under a provoke debuff attacks your team, right, he places a decreased attack debuff on them. And it doesn't have to be him. That's the good part. So I mean, you have provoked the Head of Decay, right? And the Head of Decay goes for your Duchess. He still will place that decrease attack on them. Yeah. And also his aura has been reworked. I mean, he had a very conditional and weak aura. So now it is going to be up to 33% everywhere. So it is going to be a top-notch aura. Well, of course, the question is how much, by how much has Infuriate's damage has been increased. As I said, it's a riddle. We don't know yet until the buffs are out. So for Angar, it looks like at least they have, made some effort, right? Fortus seems very lazy. I'm sorry to say, just pick up skill at random, increase damage, and that's it. I mean, yeah, it's a bit sad. So these are the Angar and Fortus buffs we have been expecting for quite some time. Sadly, that is it. And yeah, as I said, guys, I think what they should be doing is, because the champions that are being buffed are not, it's not Taras, it's not Georgid, it's not Harima. It's not the good champions that are being buffed, right? It is the really bad champions that are getting buffed. You open your Void and you get an Angar and Fortus. I mean, you get really sad unless it's, very early in Mercy. It can be very demoralizing to get, imagine waiting for 6 months to get a Void Legendary and boom, Angar, right? Unplayable. That is a little bit sad. So I think, as I said, I mean, they should have 3 stars or so after the buff, I would say. I mean, they were maybe 1 stars and now they are 1.5 stars. Maybe Angar is 2 stars. I don't know, because as I said, we need to see how much the damage has been increased by. But yeah, all in all, I would say very underwhelming for buffs that have been announced 6 months ago. Well, that's it. That is my take on the buffs. So these will be arriving soon. I think they have been, talking about this stuff, and I seem to recall something about early February, and it could probably be a big patch, maybe with the fragment shop, excess fragment shop, and super raids on dungeons. We'll see when it arrives. Yeah, that is my take on the buffs, and I will see you on stream. Bye bye.